session we will be configuring a router on a stick, static routing and telnet. My name is Kedar Dandekar and I am a Cisco certified internet network expert in enterprise infrastructure. So if you have any question, then please feel free to mail me on kedartandekar@nittraining.in. So today we will be configuring a router on a stick. So the first task is that we have to configure a router on a stick in LAN 1 so that we can get a reachability between VLAN 2 and VLAN 3. After that we have to configure a router on a stick in LAN 2 so that we can get a reachability between VLAN 4 and VLAN 5. So let's start with router 1. So this is my router 1 and this is my interface E0/0. So we have to create the sub interface of this E0/0. So first the interface E0/0 will be into the shutdown state. So let's bring it up using no shutdown command. And now we will create the first sub interface, that is E0/0.1. Now we need to tell the router that this sub interface belongs to which VLAN. So that's why we need to give the command encapsulation .1q, and this sub interface belongs to VLAN 2. So that's why 2 now. And now the IP address will be 10.1.1.2, and this will be the default gateway for all the PCs in VLAN 2. Now the same thing, second sub interface, and this sub interface belongs to VLAN 3, and the IP address for this sub interface will be 11.1.1.2, and also this will be the default gateway for all the PCs in VLAN 3. So this was on the router 1. Now on router 2 for LAN 2, now again the interface is E0/0. So let's make it no shutdown, and after that we will create the first sub interface E0/0.1, and now this sub interface will belongs to VLAN 4, and the IP address will be 12.1.1.2, subnet mask 255.0.0.0, and this will be the default gateway for all the PCs in VLAN 4. And now E0/2, this sub interface belongs to VLAN 5, and the IP address will be 13.1.1.2, and this will be the default gateway for all the PCs in VLAN 5. Now the next task is for the static routing configuration. So we have to configure the primary path on router 1 and router 2 using static route with lowest AD value. So by default the static route AD value is 1 only, so we will keep it 1 only on both router 1 and router 2 for primary path. Okay, so config t IP route. So we have to add the network on router 1, we have to add the network of VLAN 4 and VLAN 5 on this router 1, and on router 2 we have to add the network of VLAN 2 and VLAN 3. So router 1 first, config t IP route 12.0.0.0 subnet mask 255.0.0.0, and next hop will be 14.1.1.2, and same for 13, next hop will be 14.1.1.2, and on router 2 we have to add the network 10.0.0.0 255.0.0.0, and next hop will be 14.1.1.1 and 11 also. So we have configured the primary path. Now after that we have to configure the secondary path on router 1 and router 2 using static route with highest AD value. Okay. So now we will add the secondary path on router 1 first. So secondary path will be for 12.0.0.0, secondary path will be from 15.1.1.2, and AD value will be, let's say highest is 250, so we will configure the 250. And for 13 also next hop will be 15.2 and AD value will be 250. Same thing on router 2. Now the next hop will be 16.1.1.2 and AD value will be 250 for 10's network, and for 11 also 16.1.1.2. Okay, so we have configured the secondary path on router 1 and router 2 also. Now for router 3 also we need to add the static entry. Okay, static route entry. So router 3 should know how to reach VLAN 2's network 10, 11 and also VLAN 4 and VLAN 5's network. Okay, so we have to add these entries into the router 3's routing table. So let's add that. So router 3 enable config t IP route 10.0.0.0 and next hop will be 15.1.1.1 11 also 15.1.1.1 for 11's network, and for 12's network next hop will be 16.1 and for 13 also 16.1. So we have added the static route entries on router 3 also. Now after that, the task is saying that router 1 and router 2 should not remove the static route from routing table even if the primary path goes down. Okay, so we will configure this after some time. So let's test the connectivity first. So we will try to reach from VLAN 2 to VLAN 3 first. So let's check the reachability 11.1.1.1. So we are getting the reachability in LAN 1 from VLAN 2 to VLAN 3. Now let's check the reachability in LAN 2 from VLAN 4 to VLAN 5. Ping 13.1.1.1. So we are trying to reach from VLAN 4 to VLAN 5, from 12.1 to 13.1. So here also we are getting the reachability. Now let's try to reach from LAN 1 to LAN 2, let's say from PC6 to PC8, from 10.1 to 12.1. In 12.1.1.1. So here also we are getting the reachability. Now the task is saying that router 1 and router 2 should not remove the static route from routing table even if the primary path goes down. So now if we verify on router 1, if we verify the routing table, show IP route static. So here we can see that router 1 is currently selecting the primary path, and now let's say if it goes down, interface E0/1 shut down. Now if we verify the routing table again, so now we can see that he is selecting the secondary path. Okay, but now the task is saying that if the primary path goes down, then router 1 should not select the secondary path. Router 1 should not remove the static route entry from the routing table. So for that now we have to add the permanent keyword. So let's make the interface E0/1 again, no shutdown. Now again we can see that now again he is selecting the primary path. So for that now we have to add the permanent keyword for the primary path. So which was okay, so this permanent, and same for 13's network on router 1, same thing on router 2. So here permanent, and for 11 also permanent. Now let's verify it again on router 1. So if we check the routing table, so currently he is selecting the primary path. So let's shut down the interface. Let's shut down the primary path first. Okay. Now let's verify the routing table again. Now here we can see that router 1 is not removing the static route even if the primary path is going down. Okay. So let's make it up now again, interface E0/1 and no shutdown, and then WR. Okay. Now the third task is for the Telnet configuration. We have to configure the Telnet on router 1 and all password must be encrypted into the configuration file. Okay, so let's configure this on router 1. So router 1, so we have to encrypt all the passwords of command for that is service password dash encryption. Okay, now enable, we have to give the enable password. Enable password, let's say Cisco. And now after that Telnet password line UTY 0/4 password, let's say here also Cisco, and login and transport input we are using Telnet, and then WR. So let's try to take a telnet from router to telnet, let's say 14.1.1.1, Cisco enable and Cisco. So we are getting the access. Now after that we have to configure the telnet on router 2 using username and password. Now also all the password must be encrypted into the configuration file. So on router 2, so again the same command, service password dash encryption, and now username Cisco, password Cisco. Okay, and now line VTY 0 space 4, login local, and now transport input telnet. Okay, now let's try to take the telnet from router 1. So telnet 14.1.1.2, so username Cisco, password Cisco, enable. Okay, so enable password, we forget to set the enable password. Okay, so enable password also Cisco. Okay, so now enable and now Cisco. Okay, so we are getting the access of router 2 also here. So we have done all the task now. So thanks for watching the video. If you have any question, then please feel free to mail me on kedardanekar@nittraining.in. Thank you.